Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. I I'm really excited for this episode, but I'm also very anxious. So we're watching episode 7 of Run with the Wind, and it's always episodes like this that make me really antsy because on the one hand, we're finally getting to our first track meet, which we've spent the last 6 episodes building up to. And Haiji's gotten this group of would-be underdog runners together. Kakeru's on board. He seems to be our most competent runner, with the exception of Haiji, who we've not actually seen run yet. And I'm excited because it's the first official track meet, and they've been building to this moment, and so that has me hyped. But then I get really anxious because I don't think it's going to go well. I really think that they're not going to do very well in this first match. And I agree with Haiji from the last episode that they just need a dose of reality and that it's going to happen eventually. They need to just suffer through this first track meet, see what they need to improve on, and move forward from there. And I think for the most part, Haiji and most of our underdogs are going to be okay, but it's Kakeru that worries me because of all the people on this team, other than Haiji, who I'm sure ran in high school. It's been established that he has. Other than Haiji, Kakeru is the only really competitive runner. I mean, Nico did track and field, but Kakeru was the competitive runner, and he's, from the flashback we've gotten from him, he's had this sense of competition and like this coach like berating him, this mentality drilled into his head from high school. And that worries me that if he doesn't do what he thinks he should do in this competition, or if his teammates don't do as well as they should, then he's going to just have a freak out moment. And I love Kakeru. I love when he's sweet, modest, shy Kakeru that we've seen kind of come out of his shell the last few episodes. But when he gets all gloomy and mopey, I'm like, oh, buddy, I just want to like give him a hug and help him. And I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen. So I'm not looking forward to that angst. I just am not. But I've held off on reviewing this episode because normally I'm like gung-ho, like, let's do it. But this episode has me so nervous. So yeah, let's just watch it, right? I hope you all have been enjoying Run with the Wind. I really like this series. It's just, Haiji's character is so good. And the developments we've had with these characters has been so intriguing. And I want them to do so well. They're like our little underdog squad, and I usually root for the underdog. So I'm so excited, but so nervous. So I hope you all enjoy this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to comment down below. No spoilers, please. And there's going to be a link below in the description to the reaction. But with that being said, we are going to start this reaction here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay. 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 Um, so yeah, let me back this out. Yeah, I really like Fujioka telling him, like, hey, you know, this Haiji has always been this character, and I know he's planning on running the hot. He's planning on running the big relay, and he's like, I need you. You should work with him with this team, because he's like, clearly Fujioka's giving him a kind of a compliment, saying you're a good runner. Haiji's a really good runner, but Haiji's dealing with this injury, and he's just now getting back to where he can run. He needs help too with the rest of this team. He's like, you should step up and be a leader and help him. And one of you commented a few episodes ago that one of the translations is a little different than Dive's translation, in that Kakeru says, I don't work well with others. And Fujioka is basically throwing the gauntlet down, being like, look, Haiji's really a good leader. He's a good runner, but he can't do this alone. He needs you to help him and step up. And Kakeru just doesn't seem like he's ready for that. And he's so driven by this competition and being first and doing it on his own that he's missing the rest of what Haiji's doing. And that went a lot better than I thought. I thought they were all going to be a lot more dour in spirits. And of course, Kakeru is the one having the worst time with it, even though, like the twins say, you qualified, you're fine. But Kakeru just can't jump that hurdle. And from the preview, it looks like Haiji's finally going to be like, okay, I'm going to put my foot down because I've had enough. Because this team is really important to him. And Fujioka kind of explains that. I'm so glad that Fujioka shut Sakaki and those others down, because like they weren't even running. They weren't even running, which I don't know, since it was held at Tokyo. I don't know if it's one of those things like in some competitions, if the university's hosting it, they don't compete. So I wonder if that was the case, where like since they were hosting it, they're not competing, but at another university they'll have a track meet and they will compete. So I'm guessing that was it. But it's like, dude, I get that there's been beef between them, and clearly from Kakeru's attitude, he can fly off the handle, it looks like. So I can see probably where Sakaki's coming from, but he was just so crass. And I'm glad that we had that moment at the beginning where Haiji's being shown as people are picking Haiji out, like, oh yeah, that's him. So I'm curious that we get more backstory on Haiji, because other than Kakeru, no one else seems to really know that Haiji's been a runner and a really good one. So I find it interesting still that the coach isn't involved. I guess he's just like, I'm just here, you do it. I love that Haiji does not have his driver's license and he just illegally drove them there. Like, Demon Senpai indeed. Like, I hope he gets his license, especially if they have to drive a long distance. And I like Prince's mentality of like him warming up as him reading a manga. He's like, I'm getting in the zone. What do you want from me? Like, this is so good. This was a really good episode. It went a lot better than I thought, and we got a lot more. We finally got the dynamics of the race. When that person bumped into Haiji's leg, I was like, oh no. And that does worry me a little bit about future races. Like, even though Haiji's qualified, that does make me worried, because I'm like if too many people bump that knee, is that going to like push him back and hurt him? But I really like Fujioka's character. I'm sad that it doesn't look like we're going to see much more of him until the actual relay, because he made the statement that he qualified, so he was going to just do intercollegiate tracks instead of any intercollegiate meets, instead of doing the actual track meets, which makes Kakeru mad, because he thinks, oh, I'm not good enough to compete against, and it's not it. It's like Kakeru he has all these preconceived notions, it seems like, of how people view him in competition and how he views competition, which is totally different than how Haiji's viewing it. And Fujioka, I believe, was trying to tell him, like, dude, you need to change your perspective just a little bit and focus on kind of the big picture if you're on a team. And that seems to be the hardest part for Kakeru, is overcoming that sense of having to do everything yourself, that you can rely on teammates and be that team player. So I don't know, but I really, really am excited for the next episode. But I'm also like, Kakeru, I want to just like give him a hug and be like, it's gonna be okay. Which they did establish Prince was over 30 minutes, but maybe less than before, so he's slowly getting better. That is sad though, that they were so mean to him. Like, where's their sense of sportsmanship? This was a good episode, guys. I just, I have so many things that I want answered and expanded upon, and I have a feeling that this season's going to do that. It's just getting to that point, and this is kind of a slow burn series where little tiny chunks of information are given off at once, and it's just waiting for that to actually materialize. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I really liked it. I'm excited for the next one, but let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great week. Stay safe, take care, and I'll be back next time with episode 8 of Run with the Wind. Bye.